I want to go over your quiz with you, but try not to pay attention to the noise because I'm in my cubicle and it gets noisy in here sometimes. So I'll try to speak directly into my microphone. On number 1, it's a given that the sine of theta is equal to negative 4/5, and it's in quadrant 4. So here we are, quadrant 4. You have 4 reference angles, remember, 1 in each quadrant. Looks like a butterfly. So we're looking at the one that's in quadrant 4, and since sine is negative 4/5, that would be opposite over hypotenuse. In quadrant 4, both the sine and the cosine is the x value and it's positive, and the sine is the y value and it's negative. Hypotenuse, remember, is always positive. So when it says to find sine of 2 theta, the formula for sine of 2 theta is 2 times sine theta times cosine theta. They gave you sine theta. Cosine theta you would have to find, and if you did your Pythagorean theorem, you would find that this side was a 3, so cosine would be 3/5. So if you multiply those fractions, you get negative 4 times 3 is negative 12 times 2 is negative 24 over 25. Okay, so the next one, let me clear this one out. Let's look at the next one. It says, given that sine theta is negative 4/5 in quadrant 4, so again, the same thing that we had before. So opposite, hypotenuse, this happens to be the 3. Cosine, the formula for that is cosine squared minus sine squared. Cosine is 3/5, so we're doing 3/5 squared minus 4/5 squared. 3/5 squared is 9/25. Negative 4/5 squared is 16/25. 9 minus 16 is minus 7 over 25. So that's the answer to that one. Some of you missed the signs on a lot of these. So let me erase that one and go to the next one. The next one asks you to find the tangent of 2 theta. So you probably need your formulas that I gave you. Remember that I gave you a packet with your cheat sheet in it. And you have a formula for tangent of 2 theta is 2 tangent of whatever angle you're talking about over 1 minus tangent squared of the angle that you're talking about. It is also, just remember this, that tangent is always sine over cosine. So tangent of 2 theta is sine of 2 theta divided by cosine of 2 theta. And in this particular problem, I gave you the same setup for every single problem that you did. So if you go back and you look at your answers that you got for your sine of 2 theta and your cosine of 2 theta, you can divide those two and get your answer. But a lot of you use the formula, so I'll use the formula. So again, same setup. Negative 4 over 5, that's a 3. So if we're looking at tangent, tangent would be opposite over adjacent, which would be negative 4/3. So 2 times negative 4/3 over 1 minus negative 4/3 squared. Got to make sure that you get your math right. 2 times negative 4/3 is negative 8/3. Negative 4/3 squared is 16/9, and 1 would be 9 over 9, so that would be 9 over 9 minus 16 over 9, which would be minus 7 over 9. We're going to flip the 1 on the bottom and multiply, so this will cancel, and we would be left, 2 negatives make a positive, so we would be left with positive 24 over 7. A lot of you got the wrong sign again on that one. So let's do the next one. Next one has a different setup. So it says given tangent is 7 over 24 and in quadrant 3. So now 1, 2, 3, we're in this quadrant, this angle. And since it is tangent, we are opposite over adjacent. Both of those are negatives in that quadrant, so those two numbers are negative. If we're trying to find sine of 2 theta, our formula is 2 times sine of theta times cosine of theta. So we need to know the sine and the cosine, which means that we need to know the hypotenuse, which is always positive. C squared equals negative 7 squared is 49. Let's see what 24 squared is. Can't do that in my head, so I'm going to have to do it on my calculator. 576 plus the 49 is 625. 625, I believe, is a perfect square, so the square root of 625 is 25. So that hypotenuse is 25. So simply plug it into your formula. Sine would be opposite over hypotenuse, which would be negative 7 over 25. Cosine would be negative 24 over 25. So 7 times 24 would be 168 times 2 would be 336 over 25 times 25 would be 625. You want to put it in your calculator and make sure that it can't be reduced. So let's see, and that one doesn't reduce, but it is a positive because two negatives make a positive, and a lot of you simply got the sign wrong. Then the next one, see the last one, has tangent is 7 over 24, so same thing. So 7 over 24 in quadrant 3. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. We already figured out the hypotenuse is 25, so if I'm trying to do tangent, I could, if I wanted to find the sine of 2 theta, I could do that, but most of you, again, use the formula, so let's use the formula. So tangent is, which they gave you, tangent, opposite over adjacent, which is positive because two negatives make a positive. 1 minus tangent squared. You didn't even need to know the hypotenuse because they gave you tangent in this one. So 2 times 7 over 24 would be 14 over 24. 7 over 24 squared would be 49 over 576. 576 is the denominator, so I could turn the 1 into 576 over 576, or use my calculator. 576 minus 49 would be 527 over 576. I'm going to flip and multiply. Probably going to use my calculator just to make sure that I know what I'm doing. So 14 over 24 times 576 over 527 is equal to 336 over 527. And that's my answer for that one. So those are all the answers to your quiz, and I've worked out the problems on that.